moviegoers. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Christian and welcome to Zero Productions. You guys, I just got back from my viewing of Glass, one of my most anticipated movies of 2019. So excited for this movie. When they announced that they were doing this film, I was so freaking pumped. I was hyped. I was like, Glass? Absolutely. Samuel Jackson's returning. Bruce Willis is returning. James McAvoy is returning. Absolutely on board. I am a big fan of Unbreakable and a huge fan of Split. Unbreakable is a film that is not talked about enough. Unbreakable as a film is not talked about enough. It is such a well-established movie from start to finish, and just the whole plot twist at the end of the movie, so well written. The cinematography in that movie is astonishing. And in 2016, when M. Night came out with Split, people went into that movie not knowing that this film was going to be tied into Unbreakable. So that film itself was its own entity. It was a spinoff to Unbreakable. So you had no expectations going into that movie. Now with Glass, you had a lot of expectations, knowing that is a sequel to Unbreakable, knowing that is a sequel to Split. A lot of questions were raised. I just want to say this right off the bat, all the bad reviews that this movie were getting, definitely, in my personal opinion, wasn't true. Yes, this movie was flawed. There's some things I would have tweaked, some things I would have changed. But in an all well-rounded opinion of what I thought about this movie, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun and it was good. I didn't love it, but I thought it was a good movie. Right off the bat, I want to say James McAvoy as an actor is amazing. Somebody get this man an Oscar. You know, he is so good at his job. All the different personalities that he plays in this movie were so good, so believable. He is just a fantastic actor, and I feel like he doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. He is one of the greatest of our generation right now. James McAvoy, brother, you are amazing in this movie. He was probably my favorite part of this movie. Definitely one of my favorite parts of this movie. But let's talk Glass. Spoilers, you guys. I'm gonna talk a lot of spoilers. So right off the bat, it starts, you know, with what's going on in the world of today. And you have David Dunn's character from Unbreakable, who owns his own security company with his son, who did return from Unbreakable, which is a great thing to see. I was happy to see him back as well. And they're sort of working together as partners, trying to take down, you know, criminals and bad guys and try to make the world a safer place. And then you also have the Horde. You have James McAvoy with all his different personalities, Hedwig, Patricia, who have already kidnapped 4 cheerleader girls, right? And you already know what's going to happen, because if you've seen Split, they're prepping, you know, the Horde is prepping for the Beast in order for him to take over and eat these girls alive. Just kill them. It's ridiculous. But, you know, David Dunn's character, he notices, you know, that these girls are missing. So they're out to look for the girls, and, you know, he's walking on the streets and he bumps into Hedwig. And you guys know David Dunn's, you know, his character, his abilities, you know, he's able to have a heightened sensibility of, you know, what you've done or what you're doing. So if you touch him, he can sense something, you know, along the lines. And he touches Hedwig, and he finds out where the girls are and what he plans on doing with them. He has a quick little vision of where the girls are in this fucking abandoned warehouse. You know, so he ends up going there. They end up, that whole first scene of them fighting was dope as hell, man. The Beast came out and he was ready, you know. Hedwig had the light and he was like, you know, I gotta prep the Beast. You know how Hedwig talks. But, you know, the Beast ends up going back to the warehouse, and he sees David Dunn's character there protecting, you know, the girls. And those fools just go at it, literally just fight each other. It was so awesome to see. And, you know, at the end of that fight, you know, they jump out of the building, and you see there's the psychiatrist there. I forgot her name. I think Dr. Ellie is her name. And, you know, they're flashing these bright lights, and, you know, that the purpose of flashing those lights are to, you know, switch the personalities of Kevin Wendell Crumb. You know, so the Beast was out and they were flashing light, and, you know, every time they flash the light, a different personality comes. So that's how they're able to sustain and control Kevin Wendell Crumb. So those two characters get caught, they get put in that asylum or whatnot, and she's really trying to study them and trying to convince them. Her whole purpose was trying to convince them that they're not superheroes. You know, this isn't a comic book. You guys are just humans. You know, you guys, this is all in your head. This is all make-believe. So that was her main purpose in the entire movie until you get to the end of the movie. So they're in there, you know, they're locked up in their rooms, and David Dunn has his room, and he has those metal pipes in his room because he's afraid of drowning. That's his weakness, is water. And then you have the lights in Kevin Wendell Crumb's room, and then that's when they introduce Elijah Glass. He's been in there. He's been heavily sedated, and they've just been fucking with him the entire time. But he's a mastermind. He's great at planning things out. He's always 2 steps ahead of you no matter what. So he's playing dumb the entire, well, not entire, I want to say about 50% of the movie. He's just playing dumb with you. You know, like he's really sedated. He's not the same person or whatnot. And, you know, it's pretty funny to see Samuel Jackson return back as, you know, Elijah. But yeah, like I said, you know, she's trying to get them to, like, hey, this is fake, you guys. Step out of it. And at some point in time, you know, I think it starts to get to them. You know, Miss Patricia in the Horde is starting to believe that, you know, maybe this isn't real. You know, the beast isn't as strong. Like, Dr. Ellie was like legit, was like coming up with these real hardcore facts. And I was like, holy shit, man, she's convincing me right now. You know, that in the zoo, that the pipes, you know, the cell bars, which is super old from the 60s, that's why you're able to bend them. She was like, I was able to bend them with the crowbar. And I was like, damn, all right. And she was like talking about with the shotgun, how did he get shot, you know, and he survived. Well, the shotgun was old, and it was, you know, it was in that zoo locker for a while now, and the moisture got to the gun, and some of the, you know, the casings hit the cell that she was in. I was like, oh my God, this could be true. What the hell? So she was legit starting to get to them and have them kind of believe that they're just normal, you know, that they don't have these abilities, that they don't have powers, you know. And this whole time, you know, Elijah's just playing dumb, prepping, waiting for his time to shine. And lo and behold, you know, he comes up with a whole master plan in order for him and the Horde and the Beast to escape and show the entire world what they can do. And then, you know, you have returning characters from Split, the one chick that didn't die, the one that was pure, Rejoice. You know, she had a pivotal role in this as well. Coming back, and, you know, she finds out, she was in school, and she finds out that his character, what's his name, the Beast and Hedwig, you know, they've been caught, and she was like, I'm happy, well, let me go visit him. So she, you know, she wants to go visit him, she wants to talk to him or whatnot. So she plays a very pivotal role in this movie, along with David Dunn's son, even along with Elijah's mom as well. As it gets to the end of the film, you know, it gets crazy. It gets, that third act of the movie gets a little bit crazy. And I want to say that the storytelling was kind of everywhere. Because when you're trying to tell all these separate, you know, these separate different stories, the plot can get messy. And I feel like that's what happened in the third act of this film. A lot was happening, you know, like the Horde and Elijah were escaping, you know, and, you know, you had David Dunn trying to escape as well. And then they were fighting each other, and it just felt like a lot. And then the whole plot twist towards the end of the movie, where you had Dr. Ellie. Now, I will have to say this. I like the tie-in, how they tied in Kevin's father. Kevin's father was on the train that David Dunn rode in Unbreakable, that Elijah set the bomb on, killing his dad. And the whole time, Kevin thought his dad just left him. And that's when his mom was, you know, really abusive towards him or whatnot, and kind of fucked up his life, you know. And, you know, he created these different personalities to help cope with his feelings, you know. He never felt that emotion, love, you know. He was just fear and hurt all the time. So he created all these different personalities to help him really cope with life. So I like how they really tied that in, you know. Elijah's whole principle was to find people out there like him. So he created multiple accidents, multiple things to see who else was out there. And lo and behold, fucking 20 years later, it was Kevin Wendell Crumb, who's just like him and just like David Dunn. So he created Kevin Wendell Crumb, he created the Beast, and he created David Dunn. So it's really crazy. That whole plot twist at the end was so cool. I was like, that is awesome. I was like, I like how they tied that in. But a huge spoiler was apparently, and I think this was a double meaning. I think this was a subliminal message with the world we live in today. When it comes to Dr. Ellie and what she was able to do and how she was faking it the entire time. She was a part of this cult society or whatnot, kind of like the Illuminati, some would say, and she was set out to make sure that they didn't expose certain things. So she tried to save them by, telling them, you're not real, stop doing this, stop. So that was her main hidden goal, her objective. Failed miserably. And I was like, you know what? And at the end of the movie, I kind of felt like that's a subliminal message right there. Like, that sounds like, what these powerful leaders, these societies, or, if you believe in the Illuminati, try to do today. Like, really try to take control and hide what's really trying to be exposed. And her little cult with the little that 3-dot tattoo, or whatever you want to call it, that flower or whatever, they were trying to hide these people with powers. That's why she was there. She didn't want that out. She wanted them to be disbelievers so they can just live their life like normal people, knowing that they're not normal. So I was like, holy shit. I was like, that's crazy. I was like, a whole plot twist. And I was like, that's why I said, like, that third act was just jammed with so much stuff. It was a lot, Then you had, the Beast turning on Elijah because they were working together. And then when he found out he killed his dad, that shit was funny. When he, like, broke his shoulder, all he did was, like, squeeze real hard. He smacked him in his chest. Because if you know Elijah, his bones are really weak. He can't take much damage. But yeah, man, it was sad. I didn't expect all three of them to die at the end of this movie. I really didn't. I was like, what? Really? Damn. I couldn't believe it, especially David Dunn. That was sad. And I kind of felt sad at the end of this movie. For all three of them. I felt kind of sad because you got to see the side of Kevin Wendell Crumb, who's just this innocent being who just struggled with all these different personalities and didn't know how to cope with himself. And you got to see a little bit side of that. And it was kind of sad, And David Dunn, the guy who was just being a vigilante, he tried to do the right thing and help people out. That was sad as well. And when he died, I was like, damn, man, the way they drowned his ass, I was like, that was some hardcore shit. Like, she called backup, like, from her little cult to, handle this whole entire thing. Shooting Kevin Wendell Crumb right in the chest and drown David Dunn. I was like, oh my God, that's just terrible. It's like, oh God. But lo and behold, being the mastermind that Elijah is, he made sure that all this stuff was recorded. All of it. He was trying to expose all of it as well to make sure everybody knows that we exist. So he had this secret recording, and it's secretly streamed to the entire internet. Well, he sent it to, David Dunn's son, the chick from Split, and his mom. And they got together, and, they sent it all around the world, all over the internet. And people at the end of that movie were finding out the truth about what's really out there. And Dr. Ellie, she was like pissed because that was her job, is to keep this low key. This can't get out. And she failed miserably. I was like, holy shit. But final thoughts on the movie, I really enjoyed it. It was good. I'm going back to see it a second time, most likely next week. I'll definitely give you guys my ranking probably sometime next week as well for this whole M. Night series. But yeah, Split it was a good movie. It was good. Yes, it had, some problems with it, but every movie does. Nothing's perfect. Some of the writing was a little off. The cinematography was beautiful. The acting was great. I give Split a B+. Not Split, sorry. I give Glass a B+, you guys. Post your comments down below. Let me know if you guys have seen Glass. What do you rate it? What did you like about the film? And what didn't you like about the film? Please post your comments down below. And thank you for taking time out of your day for watching Zero Productions. Peace.